Hey there guys, it is I, IceyPie, and I just want to give you guys a quick disclaimer real quick. The disclaimer is that this is a creepypasta that I wrote. I have the papers right here. And I just want to tell you guys this is not something that I'm going to be doing normally on my channel. Like not regularly. Like, I'm not really a creepypasta reader on YouTube. And my channel is definitely not suited for that type of material, like, due to the type of videos I create. But I wanted to get this creepypasta on Creepypasta Wiki. It got denied, so I thought, screw it. I'm just going to read it and put it on my YouTube channel. The chances of my YouTube channel converting into this kind of into these kinds of videos are extremely slim, unless I make another channel dedicated to these kinds of videos. Also, I did make other creepypastas like We Deleted You, and I'm currently working on another creepypasta, Habits. But right now, I hope you enjoy this one that I written. Hi, my name is Daniel. I've been known to be a big fan of life simulation games like Spore, Animal Crossing, and of course, all of the Sims games. However, on June 14th, 2014, this all changed. I got a game called Tomodachi Life, which was another life simulation game on the Nintendo 2DS and 3DS. I went to my local game store to buy it, I picked out a copy and went to the desk to purchase it. The clerk gave me a strange look when he scanned the game and put it in the bag. I paid for it, and when I left the game store, I looked at the cover, and I found something weird. Nobody was smiling. They were all sad. Some were even cowering in sadness. But I thought nothing of it. So when I got home, I popped it into my 3DS system and started playing. It asked for the time, which was normal. But when I got to name my island, I didn't know what to call it, so I just called it Daniel's Island. But what was weird is that when I continued, it read Death Island. What a great name. I was shocked. Death Island? What kind of game is this? I thought. I then made my islander. I tried to make him as happy as he can be, and after I made him, he moved into one of the apartments. He had a problem, so I went to help. But I found something weirder, something that wasn't very appropriate for this game. My me held his arm and said, "I have a cut in my arm." I was getting scared but I was curious to see what happened next. The game presented me with two choices, to either put on a bandage or rub salt into the wound. Everyone knows that rubbing salt in an open wound would cause it to burn and sting, so I chose to put a bandage on my character, but it wouldn't let me for some reason. And I couldn't leave the apartment either, so I chose to rub salt in his wound, just to get out of that choice. Then, the game showed salt being rubbed into my me's arm. He screamed, and my me yelled at me and told me to get out of his apartment. And the game took me out every time I went back in. My me would stare at the camera and say to go away. I decided to forget about it and make some new islanders, which were friends and family. When I was done with them, I decided to get some food from the food mart for them to eat. When all of a sudden I heard an extremely loud scream which scared me half to death. Then I went back to the apartments to check what was going on, and when I saw what was happening, I couldn't believe my eyes. My me was in one of my friend's apartments, stabbing him with a knife, and when he was done, he was covered in blood. He then went to each apartment one by one, killing whoever was inside in a gruesome way. And after he killed the person in the last apartment, the game took me without pressing anything. Then my me turned around to face me. His eyes were replaced with gaping holes with tiny red pupils in the middle and had a bloody grin. He walked towards me, raising his knife, saying, "You'll regret what you've done to me." I then ejected the game and a buzzing noise came out of the speakers and then shut off. I shoved the game in a drawer in my bedroom. This event kept me up for several nights and had a few nightmares. One of them was of me, playing on my PS4. I played for a while until I heard my bedroom door open. I paused the game that I was playing and turned around, only to see my me standing there with a knife. He walked over to me with an evil grin and stabbed me, but before he could, I woke up. The next night I had a dream where I was in the mall. I was in the fitting room at Old Navy trying on some jeans. When I saw some feet in front of the door, I asked politely for whoever was there to go away. But then they started banging on the door repeatedly, and somehow they managed to bang the door open. My me was standing there. He then stabbed me. I woke up and looked at my chest, which was good as new. I was relieved. But the most disturbing dream I had was the last one I had. The dream involved me at my best friend Jack's house. We were watching TV and talking about our favorite video games. He then brought up Tomodachi Life, which he claims to be one of his favorite games. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I said, yeah, it's a great game. I looked back at the TV for a few seconds, and then I looked back at Jack, but he wasn't there. Jack was sitting in the corner of the room, bleeding with knife wounds, but on the couch sitting next to me was my me. And once again, he had an evil grin and a knife in his hand. I then spoke out. "Why are you doing this to me?" I asked. I didn't expect to get a response, but to my surprise, I did.
"Because you hurt me,"
my mate said in a dark and evil voice. I tried to apologize, but he ignored me and pinned me down to restrain me. I kicked and squirmed, and I even screamed for help, but no one came. As my mate was making the first stab, I woke up. It was the scariest moment of my life. I took some deep breaths, and for some reason, I never got a nightmare since then. It wasn't until a month later when I decided to play Tomodachi Life again. I figured that if I restart my progress, then everything will return to normal. Or so I thought. I took the game out of my drawer and popped it into my 3DS system. The game icon looked a bit different than the last time I played it. I pressed the play button, which I now deeply regret. The loading time was long, and I repeatedly told myself, maybe I shouldn't do this. And just as I was about to eject the game, a loud piano note played, revealing a completely black background with blood letters saying Tomodachi Death, and a picture of my me staring at me with gaping eyes, with red pupils, and a bloody grin.